Think positive.
Welcome back to the Golan Bros podcast, GA for short. I'm your host, Prince. This is a space for inner work, self-improvement, self-discovery, mindset, accountability, integrity, reflection, and personal development. This podcast is built for growth, for honesty, and for becoming a better version of yourself, one day at a time. New episodes drop every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Today's episode is called Overthinking. I do. Where does overthinking come from? For the longest, it always felt normal. I tell myself it's not as complicated as the mind makes it seem. And time again, I'm right. But it still lingers. It jumps from one thing to the next. I do overthink more than half the time. Maybe you do too. Maybe yours doesn't look like mine. Yours isn't conversations. Maybe it's decisions. Your future. Maybe your past. Overthinking isn't one specific thought. It's a pattern. A cycle. One thought becomes another. That thought creates a question. The question creates another possibility. Then another. And before you realize it, you're no longer thinking about the original thought. You've drifted somewhere completely different. It's almost fascinating how quickly the mind can do that. One moment you're deciding what to eat tomorrow. The next, you're questioning the direction of your entire life. How does that happen? Why does the mind always seem to travel farther than the moment ever asked it to? I don't know if it's because we want certainty or because uncertainty feels uncomfortable, but I've noticed something. The mind doesn't always search for truth. Sometimes it searches for reassurance. And those aren't always the same thing. For a long time, I thought overthinking meant thinking too much. Now, I'm not so sure. I think it's something else. Thinking helps us understand. Overthinking convinces us there's always more to understand, even when there isn't. That's the difference. Reflection has a destination. Overthinking doesn't. Reflection eventually lets go. Overthinking keeps holding on. It's almost like reading the same page in a book, again and again, expecting a different sentence to appear. Nothing changed, only the amount of time spent looking at it. The mind has a difficult time accepting that some things don't require another thought. Not every decision deserves another review. Sometimes what happened, it's simply what happened. But the mind struggles with simply. It wants another layer, another reason, another answer. I wonder if overthinking begins the moment we become uncomfortable with not knowing, because not knowing leaves room for assumptions, for possibilities, for fear, and the mind doesn't like empty space. It wants to fill it. If something doesn't make sense, the mind creates its own explanation, whether it's true or not. That's what's interesting. Overthinking doesn't need evidence. It only needs enough uncertainty to keep itself alive. Once it starts, it becomes difficult to recognize where reality ends and imagination begins. Sometimes the greatest source of stress isn't what happened. It's everything we convinced ourselves could happen. Maybe that's why overthinking feels so convincing. Every thought sounds important. Every possibility feels like it deserves attention. Every what if introduces another direction to explore, and before long, your attention is divided between things that exist and things that don't. It's strange. The mind doesn't always separate reality from possibility. It treats both as if they're happening at the same time. One moment you're living today, the next, you're reacting to something that hasn't happened. You're preparing for conversations that may never take place, defending yourself against words that were never spoken. It's almost like borrowing stress from tomorrow and bringing it into today. The future hasn't asked anything from you, yet somehow you're already exhausted by it. Maybe that's one of the biggest costs of overthinking. Not that it makes us think, but that it quietly takes away from the only moment we actually have. Right now, there's another thing I've been thinking about. Why is it that the mind can't create a problem before one even exists? Nothing happened. Nobody said anything. Nothing changed. Yet, somehow, your mood did. All because of a thought. That's a different kind of power. The ability to influence how we feel without reality ever changing. Think about that. You can wake up to a normal day. Nothing is wrong. Nothing has gone against you. Yet, one thought enters your mind, and suddenly the day feels heavier than it did 5 minutes ago. Not because the world changed, because your perspective did. And maybe that's what makes overthinking so difficult to recognize. The thoughts feel real, the emotions are real, but the situation might not be. Stories in our minds that we react to more than often, those are two completely different realities. One is lived, the other is imagined. Sometimes they overlap, sometimes they don't. The challenge is knowing which one you're standing in. As for overthinking, I don't have nothing else to say. We got the same lens, the same questions, the same confusion, and the same illusion, searching for the answers. I hope you found something worth taking with you today. Maybe a new perspective, maybe a moment to pause and reflect. Thank you for being here and sharing this space with me. Your presence matters. If this resonated with you, share it with someone you care about, because growth spreads through connection. I'll see you next time. Take care of yourself, stay grounded, and as always, be safe.